Thanks so much for joining us today to learn about Aleran Connected Commerce as part of the ISV Society Demo Days on Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. We're going to talk about today how you can unlock growth, acquire more customers, and do all of that with more sales efficiency and streamlining your quoting. So let's go ahead and get started. So who we are, Aleran Connected Commerce. We're an ERP connected quoting and sales platform. We're only built for mid-sized B2B manufacturers. We specialize in working with manufacturers that have highly configurable and complex products, complex pricing, and complex sales processes. We are not a one-size-fits-all, and we'll talk more about that later. And the way we're able to handle and simplify this complexity is through this integration and with our use of AI, which we'll talk about more too as well. All right, so a little bit about what we typically see as customers or prospects come to us. We typically see that there is slow manual quoting often happening in spreadsheets. The systems are really complex. Sales doesn't know how to, or it's too technical to use the engineering CPQ. Engineering may not be getting all the details they need from sales. So in that environment, then sales may be configuring or operations, or maybe all of the above on the side, keeping some spreadsheets for products, for pricing, for different configurations. And then what that typically happens is we'll see some inaccurate or inconsistent pricing. And that leads to margin errors and revenue leakage, and more on that too. And then also what ends up happening is because these efforts aren't digitized, they're not streamlined, they are losing sales to competitors. And the other piece too is if they're relying, as they often are, on dealers and distributors, they can't always see what's really happening across the business. And those dealers and distributors can't also get quotes as quickly as they need to be able to help sell and service customers. So, as these scenarios we just walked through, these challenges carry a pretty high cost. We ran a survey earlier this year of 200 U.S. B2B mid-sized manufacturers, and we found 86% have told us that they have lost a deal because of their slow manual quoting process, and that it's costing them an average of 5% a year in revenue leakage, and even as high as 15%. And yet 73%, or about 3/4, are still relying on that process. Why? Well, often what we'll see is that folks are really used to it, right? Like these systems have worked. It is what we're used to. And maybe what they'll also do is they'll start looking at, e-commerce could solve for this, or maybe we get a CPQ and that'll solve. But what happens is when these systems aren't fully connected or they're just bolted on, they actually end up causing more complexity. All right, so we like to use this analogy at Aleran Connected Commerce because it really summarizes what we do and how we connect across. So think of your ERP as running your operations and Aleran Connected Commerce as running your revenue. And we'll go into these different pieces of how we work across the different parts of the orchestra. So in that scenario, Aleran Connected Commerce is like the conductor of your orchestra. So in your orchestra, you have different parts and players. You have the sales order management section. You have your sales reps and your emails, and you're getting quotes and you're getting orders. And then you have your product inventory management system and your sales configuration. You have your e-commerce and your portal, and all of that is connected into your multi-storefronts and your catalog embedded buying. And then, of course, we can't forget AI. Not only optimizing your product content for SEO, but for AI search as well. not to mention our AI sales assistant. So with Aleran Connected Commerce as the conductor of this sales orchestra and connecting in with your ERP that runs your operations and your CRM, that's kind of like your audience and the songbook and the song sheets that everyone knows and loves, Aleran connects all of that together to make all of these different parts of the orchestra sing together and work together and play together at the same time. Okay, so what does this look like? Here's a little view of what the Aleran Connected Commerce workflow can look like. So case in point here, a buyer goes to the website, and they find in search, including AI search, your product content. Great. So they come to your site and they configure a quote. They submit a request for it. You could have that where they could do it immediately and get the pricing, or they could configure to a certain point and then submit it, and then sales contacts them. There's a number of different ways we can structure it that are custom for you. So sales gets notified, they review the quote, they maybe modify it based on their own knowledge and expertise and experience. And then with using our unique approach of connecting across systems and leveraging AI to even get to the BOM level to make the quotes and configurations that much smarter, we can then get it back with that workflow for the buyer to review. Maybe they request a discount. No problem. We can get that in minutes, routed in the workflow. And then they complete and submit the order, and it moves ahead. And all of that data from the order, including from the quote, all syncs with your ERP and CRM for a really seamless process that can actually happen in minutes versus days or weeks. So what does this look like? Here's just a rough view, and then we'll walk through in a little bit more detail of how it actually looks and works inside the product and what the customer sees for your buyers when they're using Aleran Connected Commerce. So here you can see you have your Microsoft Dynamics ERP, and there's an open API that Aleran connects with. And from that, we're able to then access your inventory, your invoices, your sales order, your products, all of that really core information and content to run your business. And that's a dynamic flow going across your ERP and Aleran. So as that quote, as I mentioned, as that order, that all goes back into your ERP and is going back and forth seamlessly. So let's just take a little look at what this can look like. So with a portal, you've all probably used one in the past where you're able to log in, get a specific view of what the portal can look like. You can go in, you could create this portal for maybe sales reps who need kind of an easy sales-friendly configurator. The portal can work for that. Maybe you have dealers or distributors and you want them to go in because you want to be able to track their engagement, what their order history looks like, and not have them calling your sales teams. The portal's great for that too. Or maybe you have a high volume of customers who are ordering or reordering and they're constantly calling your sales reps and asking the status of where their order is. The portals are great for that too. They get total visibility into where they're ordered at any given time, including any custom pricing or promotion that you want to offer. For our sales configurator, as you can see here in the CPQ, we can configure it a couple of different ways. We can have it just as it's listed here, where you could have products on your site that are both click to cart and or configurable. You can include the variables that you want in the configuration. You could have it all the way up to the price and click to cart here, or you could have it stop at a certain point and then request a quote and have sales engage at this time. Our shoppable catalogs is also another feature that our manufacturing customers really appreciate. And this is too where AI is pretty groundbreaking, where we're able to take your product catalogs and with our AI digitize them in minutes to make them completely shoppable. And that makes them easy to get started, where you don't have to wait. Aleran Connected Commerce can be live in as soon as 30 days, and even delivering ROI in up to 90 days. So we're pretty fast, flexible, and cost effective. All right, so we walked through a few common use cases previously. Now we'll just walk through a few more. So in that case, as I mentioned earlier with the portal, you have the with the sales-friendly CPQ and configurator. This works really great, eliminating those spreadsheets and eliminating that time passing it back and forth. Maybe, you have a really complex go-to-market model, high volume of products, configuration, a lot of personalization and promotions. We work really well for these kinds of customers to handle this because, again, that's what we're built for. We don't serve other industries other than manufacturers. And maybe there's a scenario where, and we've had this and are currently onboarding one new customer, where they've grown a lot through acquisition. So what that results in oftentimes is a lot of different technology as part of the stack that's disconnected. And so that makes it hard for teams to upsell or cross-sell when company A's products might be a really great fit for company B. They can't see each other or talk to figure that out without either spreadsheets or some lengthy back and forths. And then another common feature and scenario that we see is when the full sales cycle, including starting with discoverability and searchability. So making sure that your product content shows up not only in SEO, but in AI search as well. So think ChatGPT and the prompts that might show up for your brand and for your content. We can help with that. So does this look like you today? So before Aleran might be entering manually sales orders into your ERP. There might be some time delays. You might be struggling with visibility. And again, the spreadsheets enter the room, and it might be a little slow to post that revenue. After and with Aleran, process is a lot faster. Everything is synced with the ERP from the start. It's more accurate, less revenue leakage, and better forecasting. And here's just a few stats on why our customers trust and have turned to Aleran. A couple of the stats here I just want to call out. I've mentioned already the 90 days to ROI. Another really key one is that 26% average first year revenue lift is significant, as is the 18% increase in average order value. And that's something we see a lot in our customers that are leveraging the recommended selling and AI guided selling with our AI features, as well as the shoppable catalogs. Makes it really easy to see their order history, to present proactively and recommend new products and parts that would be a fit. And then, of course, average cost savings. You're saving a lot of time from having your systems, your data connected. So your very talented sales teams can focus on developing those customer relationships and deepening those connections through really understanding the data, the trends, and where the opportunities are from a strategic perspective. All right, well, we would love the opportunity to be able to help you. I mentioned earlier that we did a report called the Built to Sell report that we launched earlier this year in September. You can find that on our website at aleron.com/built-to-sell2025. I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to contact me, Amy Kamenik, VP of Marketing, at akamenik@Aleran. And you can also hit us up on our website to book a time, or just email us at sales@Aleran. So any number of ways that we can help you, we'd love the opportunity. All right, Thanks for giving me this chance to walk through this demo today.